Hello everybody at Heathfield Primary School. My name's Ken O'Hara and I've been invited by Mrs Hardy to help you celebrate Robert Burns, our national bard. A fancy name for a poet. Now, Robbie, Rabbi, Robin, Robert, he was known by all these names and a few other names as well. The ploughman poet, he was known as, because he was a farmer. And he was born in Alloway, not far from where you are just now. And if you've never been there, go out there and visit Burns Cottage. It's a fascinating place. And it's all done up like the way Robert would have known it, with the animal noises in, just next to the living room, because the animals stayed in the same house. So he was born in 1759. And he died when he was only 37 years old. 37. Not very old at all. He's famous all over the world. And people celebrate his poetry and music every 25th of January, his birthday, by holding Robert Burns suppers, or Burns suppers as they're called, where you eat haggis and have a wee dram of whisky. You can have a wee dram of iron brew. Fair fa your honest sonsy face, great chieftain o' the puddin' race, aboon them all you tak your place, painch, tripe, or thairm, weel o' your wordy o' a grace, as lang's my airm. Thy groaning trencher there you fill, your hurdies like a distant hill, your pin would help to mend a mill in time o' need, and through your pores the dews distill, like amber bead. See the rustic labour dicht, and cut ye up wi' ready slicht, trenching your gushing entrails bricht, like ony ditch, and oh, what a glorious sight, warm reeking, rich. Then, horn for horn they stretch and strive, deal take the hindmost on they drive, till all their wheel-swart kites be live, are bent like drums, and old Goodman maist like to rive, be thank it hums. Is there the hour's French ragout, or olio that would stow a sow, or fricassee would mak a spew wi' perfect scunner, looks doon, wi' sneering scornful view when sick o' dinner. Peer devil, see him o'er his trash, it's feckless as a withered rash, his spindle shank a good whiplash, his knee a knit, and through bloody flood or field to dash. Oh, how unfit. But mark the rustic haggis fed, the trembling earth resounds his tread, clapping his wally knee a blade, and heel mak it whistle, and legs and arms and heads o' sned like taps o' thistle. Ye powers will mak mankind your care, and dish them out their bill of fare. Scotland wants nae skinking ware that joups and luggies. But if you wish her grateful prayer, gie her a haggis. We'll have a wee song just now. Here's a song about, you may have heard about the Jacobites, if you've studied that at school, in the older primaries, primary 6, primary 7. You may have heard about the Jacobites and indeed studied them, as I say. Scottish warriors, Scottish soldiers, the Jacobites, named after King James, or in the Latin for James is Jacobus, so that's why they were called Jacobites. And if you've heard of Bonnie Prince Charlie and all these historical characters, that's about the same time. And the Jacobites were famous for fighting the English army and trying to keep their freedom, the Scottish freedom. So here's a song called Ye Jacobites by Name. Ye Jacobites by name, lend an ear, lend an ear. Ye Jacobites by name, lend an ear. Ye Jacobites by name, proclaim, your thoughts I will proclaim, your doctrines I'm on blame. You shall hear, you shall hear, your doctrines I'm on blame. You shall hear. What is right and what is wrong, by the law, by the law. What is right and what is wrong, by the law. What is right and what is wrong, a short sword and a lang, a weaker man to strang. 40 draw, 40 draw, a weaker man to strang. 40 draw. Ye Jacobites by name, lend an ear, lend an ear. Ye Jacobites by name, lend an ear. Ye Jacobites by name, your thoughts I will proclaim, your doctrines I'm on blame. You shall hear, you shall hear, your doctrines I'm on blame. You shall hear. What makes heroic strife, famed afar, famed afar? What makes heroic strife, famed afar? What makes heroic strife, to wit the assassin's knife, and hunt up parents' life with bloody war, bloody war, and hunt up parents' life with bloody war. Ye Jacobites by name, lend an ear, lend an ear. Ye Jacobites by name, lend an ear. Ye Jacobites by name, your thoughts I will proclaim, your doctrines I'm on blame. You shall hear, you shall hear, your doctrines I'm on blame. You shall hear. Then leave your schemes alone in the state, in the state. Then leave your schemes alone in the state. Then leave your schemes alone, adore the rising sun, and leave a man undone to his fate, to his fate, and leave a man undone to his fate. Ye Jacobites by name, lend an ear, lend an ear. Ye Jacobites by name, lend an ear. Ye Jacobites by name, your thoughts I will proclaim, your doctrines I'm on blame. You shall hear, you shall hear, your doctrines I'm on blame. You shall hear. So that was Ye Jacobites by Name, one of Burns' songs about Scottish history. As I said earlier, Burns wrote poems and songs about different things, about love, about nature, about the way human beings behave towards each other. Here's one about nature, and this is called To a Mouse. And this poem contains a couple of the most famous lines ever written by Robert Burns, and people often quote it. And the lines are, "The best laid schemes o' mice and men gang aft agley," which means the best laid plans that anybody has, either a mouse or a man, doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how well you plan something, it can go wrong for no reason. Wee sleekit cowrin timorous beastie, oh, what a panic's in thy breastie. Thou needna start a wassa hasty wi' bicker and brattle. I'd be laith to rin and chase thee wi' murder and pattle. I'm truly sorry man's dominion has broken nature's social union, and justifies that ill opinion that makes thee startle at me, thy poor earth-born companion and fellow mortal. I doot nae whiles but thou may thieve. What then, pair beastie, thou maun leave. A day my nickering a thrave's a sma' request. I'll get a blessing with a lave and never miss it. Thy wee bit hoosey too and ruin, it's silly was the winds are strewn, and naething new to big and new, you know, fogage green, and bleak December winds ensuing, baith snell and keen. Thou saw the field laid bare and waste, and weary winter coming fast, and cosy here, beneath the blast, thou thocht to dwell, till crash, the cruel coulter passed out through thy cell. That wee bit heap o' leaves and stibble has cost thee money a weary nibble. Now thou's turned out for all thy trouble, but house and hold, to thole the winter sleety dribble and Cranragh called. But mousie, thou art no thy lane, and proving foresight may be vain. The best laid schemes o' mice and men gang aft agley, and leave us nowt for grief and pain, for promised joy. Still, thou art blessed compared with me. The present only toucheth thee, but I'll ha' backward cast my ee on prospects drear, and forward, though I canna see, I guess and fear. Now here's one of his most famous love songs, and he wrote this, it's believed, for his wife Jean Armour to sing, because she was a lovely singer apparently, and he wrote this song for her to sing, and it's called My Love Is Like a Red, Red Rose. Oh, my love is like a red, red rose that's newly sprung in June. My love is like a melody that's sweetly played in tune. As fair art thou, my bonny lass, so deep in love am I, and I will love thee still, my dear, till all the seas gang dry. Till all the seas gang dry, my dear, and rocks melt away the sun, and I will love thee still, my dear, while the sands o' life shall run. But fare thee weel, my only love, and fare thee weel awhile, and I will come again, my love, though 'twere 10,000 miles. Oh, my love is like a red, red rose that's newly sprung in June. My love is like a melody that's sweetly played in tune. So here's my tam o'shanter. Here's my tam. And this tam is about the right size that they used to wear in Scotland. It's now called a tam o'shanter after the poem. And it's the kind of hat that they used to wear. This is called the wick, which soaked up all the rain if it was bad weather. And in sunny days you can put it forward, and if it was warm you could put it back. And and if it was windy, you can put it over your face, and all sorts of ways to wear it. Usually worn at a wee angle like that. So, here's the story of tam o'shanter. Some of you may be trying to learn some of the verses, and if you have been, it's tricky, isn't it? But here is the story of tam o'shanter. I hope you enjoy it. As market days are wearing late, and folk begin to tack the gate, while we sit boozing at the nappy, getting fou and unco happy, and think now on the lang Scots miles, the mosses, waters, slaps and stiles that lie between us and our hame, where sits our sulky, sullen dame, gathering her brews like gathering storm, nursing her wrath to keep it warm. This truth fand honest tam o'shanter, is he frae airy nacht did canter, all dear, wham na a tune surpasses, for honest men and bonny lasses. Ah, Tam, hadst thou but been so wise as ta'en thy ain wife Kate's advice, She told the wheel thou was a skellum, a bletherin', blisterin', drunken blellum. That frae November till October, market day thou wasna sober. Their telka melder wi' the miller, thou sat as long as thou had siller. At every naig was caught a shoe on, the smith and thee got roaring foo on, and at the Lord's house, even on Sunday, thou drank wi' Captain Jean. Puh! Till Monday. She prophesied that late or soon they would be found deep drowned in Doon, or catched wi' warlocks in the muck by Alloway's old haunted kirk. Ah, gentle dames, it gars me greet to think how money coon so sweet, how money lengthens sage advices the husband frae thy wife despises. But to our tale. Market nicht, Tam had got planted, unco richt, fast by an ingle bleezing finely, wi' reaming swats that drank divinely. By his elbow, Suitor Johnny, his ancient trusty drouthy crony, Tam lo'ed him like a very brother. They had been fou for weeks, the gars. The nicht drave on with sangs and clatter, and aye the ale was growing better. The landlady and Tam grew gracious, with favours, secret, sweet and precious. The suitor told his queerest stories. The landlord's laugh was ready chorus. Oh. The storm without mick rear and rustle. Tam didn't mind the storm a whistle. Care, mad to see a man so happy, e'en drowned himself among the nappy. As bees flee hame with lades o' treasure, the minutes winged their way with pleasure. Kings may be blessed, but Tam was glorious, or all the ills o' life victorious. But pleasures are like poppies spread. You seize the flower, its bloom is shed, or like the snow falls in the river, a moment white, then melts forever. Or like the Borealis race that flit ere you can point their place, or like the rainbow's lovely form vanishing amid the storm. Nae man can tether time nor tide. The hour approaches, Tam maun ride. That hour o' night's black arts, the key stain, that dreary hour he mounts his beast in, and sic a night he tacks the road, and ne'er poor sinner was abroad in. The wind blew, 'twould blawn its last, the rattling showers rose in the blast. The speedy gleams the darkness swallowed, loud, deep and lang the thunder bellowed. That nicht a child might understand the deil had business on his hand. Wheel mounted on his grey mare Meg, a better never lifted leg, Tam skelpit on through dub and mire, despising wind and rain and fire, whilst holding fast his gid blue bonnet, whilst crooning o'er some old Scots sonnet, whilst glowering round wi' prudent cares, lest bogles catch him unawares. Kirkalloway was drawing nigh, where ghasts and hoolits nightly cry. Now, by this time, he was crossed the ford wherein the snow the chapman smoored, and past the bucks and meikle stane, where drunken Charlie brak his neck bane, and through the winds and by the cairn, where hunters fand the murdered bairn, and near the thorn aboon the well, where Mungo's mother hanged herself. Before him Doon pours all his floods, the Dublin storm roars through the woods, the lightnings flash fae pole to pole, near and more near the thunders roll, when glimmering through the groaning trees, Kirkalloway seemed in a blaze. Through ilka bore the beams were glancing, and loud resounded mirth and dancing. Inspiring bold John Barleycorn, what dangers thou canst make us scorn. Wi' tippenny, we fear nae evil, wi' Uscaby, we face the devil. The swat sae reamed in Tammy's noddle. Fair play, he car'd nae deals a boddle, but Maggie stood, richt sair astonished, till by a heel and a hand admonished, she ventured forward on the licht, and vowed Tam saw an unco sight. Warlocks and witches in a dance. Nae cotillion Brent knew in France, but Hornpipes, jigs, the spades and the reels, put life and metal on their heels. A winnock bunker in the east, there sat old Nick in shape of beast, a towsy tyke, black, grim and large, to gie them music was his charge. He screwed the pipes and got them skilled to riff and rafters, oh, the dirl, the coffins stood round, the coping presses, and shawed the deed in their last dresses. And by some devilish cantrip slicht, each in their cold hand held a licht, by which heroic Tam was able to note upon the haly table a murderer's banes and gibbet airns, twa span lang, wee unchristened bairns, a thief new cut it through the rape, wi' his last gasp his gab did gape. 5 tomahawks with blood red rusted, 5 scimitars with murder crusted, a garter which a babe had strangled, a knife a father's throat had mangled, whom his ain son o' life bereft. The grey hairs yet stack to the heft, wi' mair o' horrible an offer that even to name would be unlawful. 3 lawyers' tongues turned inside out, wi' lies seemed like a beggar's clout. 3 priests' hearts, rotten black as muck, lay stinking vile in every nook. As Tammy glowered, amazed and curious, the mirth and fun grew fast and furious. The piper loud and louder blew, the dancers quick and quicker flew. They reeled, they set, they crossed, they cleekit, till ilka carl and swat and reekit. Oh, and coosed their duddies to the whack, and linket at it in a sack. Ah, Tam, had they been queens, all plump and strapping in their teens. Their sarks instead of creasy flinen been snow white 1700 linen. Their breeks o' mine, my only pair that aince were plushy gid blue hair, I'd ha' gi'en 'em off my hurdies for ae blink of the bonny birdies. But wither beldams, old and droll, rigwoody hags would speen a foal, louping and flinging in a crummock. I wonder didn't they turn thy stomach. But Tam ken what was what fu brawly there was winsome wench and Wally that nicht enlisted in the corps. Lang after kenned on Carrickshore, for money a beast to did she shot, and perished money a bunny boat, and shook baith meikle corn and beer, and kept the countryside in fear. Her cutty sark o' Baisley ham that while a lassie she had worn, in longitude, though sorely scanty, it was her best, and she was vaunty. Little kenned that reverend granny the sack she coughed for her wee nanny, wi' 12 pund Scots. 'Twas all her riches would ever ha' graced a dance o' witches. But here my muse, her wing maun cour, 6 flights are far beyond her power, to sing how Nanny lapping, flying, a supple jade she was, and strang, and how Tam stood looking bewitched, and thocht his very een enriched. Even Satan glowered and fidged fu fain, wi' hocht and blew, wi' micht and main, till first he caper sign another. Tam tent his reason all together, and roars out, "Well done, Cutty Sark!" And in an instant all was dark. Scarcely had he Maggie rallied, when out the hellish legion sallied, as bees bizz out wi' angry fyke, when plundering herds assail their bike as open pussy's mortal foes. When pop, she starts before their nose, as eager runs the market crowd. When catch the thief resounds aloud. So Maggie runs, the witches follow, when mony an eldritch screech and hollow. Ah, Tam, thou get thou ferrin, and hell they'll roast thee like a herring. In vain thy Kate awaits thy coming. Kate soon will be a waffle woman. Now do thy speedy utmost, Meg, and win the key stain o' the brig. For there at them thy tail may toss, or in stream they darena cross. But ere the key stain she can make the feint, a tail she had to shake for Nanny, far before the rest. Hard upon noble Maggie pressed, and flew at Tam with furious ettle. But little was she Maggie's mettle. A spring brought off her maester hale, but left behind her ain grey tail. The carlin clocht her by the rump, and left puir Maggie scarce a stump. Now, wha this tale of truth shall read, ilk man and mither son, take heed. If to drink you are inclined, or Cutty Sarks run in your mind, think Ye may buy the joys our dear. Remember, Tam O'Shanter's mare. So here's Three Crows. Three crows sat upon a wall, sat upon a wall, sat upon a wall. Three crows sat upon a wall on a cold and frosty morning. The first crow couldn't flee at all, couldn't flee at all, couldn't flee at all. The first crow couldn't flee at all on a cold and frosty morning. The second crow fell and broke his jaw, fell and broke his jaw, fell and broke his jaw. The second crow fell and broke his jaw on a cold and frosty morning. The third crow was green for his moor, green for his moor, green for his moor. The third crow was green for his moor on a cold and frosty morning. The fourth crow wasn't there at all, wasn't there at all, wasn't there at all. The fourth crow wasn't there at all on a cold and frosty morning. And that's all I ken about the crows, I ken about the crows, I ken about the crows. That's all I ken about the crows on a cold and frosty morning. Yeah, Three Crows. Now, who likes fish and chips? Who? You? Do you like fish and chips? And you? You like fish and chips? Do you like fish and chips as well? Good, excellent. That's great. I don't like fish and chips. I don't like fish really, but I like chips. Anyway, and you can go to a chip shop and buy chips, a wee poke of chips. Here's a story about a chip shop, and you know, there was a murder in the chip shop, and that's what the song's called. Now, it's a daft wee song. Don't try and understand it. It's just a bit of nonsense, like Three Crows. Last night there was a murder in the chip shop. A wee dog stole a haddy bone. A haddy bone's a fish bone for a haddock. A wee dog stole a haddy bone. A big dog tried to take it off it, so I hit it with a tatty scone. Then I went round to see my Auntie Sarah. She was living in a corned beef tin. And I peeked through a hole in the window and I shouted, "Auntie Sarah, are you in?" Her false teeth were lying on the table, her curly wig was hanging for her head. Then I laughed till I wasn't able when I saw her screwing off her wooden leg. That's it. There's a wee bit for you to do. Here we go. I'll sing it through once, then I'll explain what you do. Last night there was a murder in the chip shop. A wee dog stole a haddy bone. A big dog tried to take it off it, so I hit it with a tatty scone. Then I went round to see my Auntie Sarah. She was living in a corned beef tin. And I peeked through a hole in the window and I shouted, "Auntie Sarah, are you in?" Her false teeth were lying on the table, her curly wig was hanging for her head. Then I laughed till I wasn't able when I saw her screwing off her wooden leg. Right, so what you do is you repeat every sort of second syllable at the end of a line. For example, last night there was a murder in the chip shop, a wee dog stole a haddy bone. A big dog tried to take it off it, hit it with a tatty scone. I went round to see my Auntie Sarah, living in the corned beef tin. I peeked through a hole in the window, I shouted, "Auntie Sarah, are you in?" And you all shout that. You all shout, "Auntie Sarah, are you in?" Her false teeth were lying on the table, curly wig was hanging fair heat. I laughed till I wasn't able, I saw her screwing off her wooden leg. Ha ha! Okay, here we go. Now remember, then we'll do it really fast. Last night there was a murder in the chip shop. A wee dog stole a haddy bone. A big dog tried to take a tap at it where Tatty's going. I went round to see my Auntie Sarah, living in the corned beef tin. I peeked through a hole in the window, I shouted, Auntie Sarah, are you in? Her false teeth were lying on the table, Gully wig was hanging fair heat. I laughed till I wasn't able, saw screwing off her wooden leg. Well done, that was good. Excellent. Except you up there, you weren't singing at all. I was watching you. Last night there was a murder in the chip shop. A wee dog stole a handy bone. A big dog tried to take a tap at, so I hugged it where Tatty's scone. Then I went round to see my Auntie Sarah, she was living in the corned beef tin. And I peeked through a hole in the window, and I shouted, Auntie Sarah, are you in? Her false teeth were lying on the table, hard colour wig was hanging fair heat. Then I laughed till I wasn't able, when I saw screwing up, saw screwing up, saw screwing up, and I wouldn't like, ha ha! Hey, well done. Right, 2 more songs to go. This is called Skyscraper Lane. It's a song about Glasgow in the 1960s probably, and people used to live in tenements, what they call, or tenements. They used to call them tenements, and they were about maybe 3 stories high, sometimes just 2 stories, and the children used to go out and play in the streets, play football and skipping and things like that, and they would shout up to their mammy to make them a piece, a jelly piece, jam piece, and they would say, Mum, can you fling down a jelly piece? And she would make a jelly piece and wrap it up in newspaper and throw it out the window, and it would land, and they'd just pick it up and start eating it. And that was their sort of play piece. So, fine. But the government decided to knock down the tenements and build nice fancy new flats, high-rise flats, 30, 40 stories high. And these poor children couldn't get a jelly piece for their mum up at the top of the skyscraper, because they would shout up, Mum, can you fling me down a jelly piece? And the mother would make the piece and wrap it up in newspaper and throw it out the window, and it would never get down to the bottom. It just wouldn't get there. And that's what the song's about. So, the chorus is, oh, you can't fling pieces out a 20-story flat. 700 hungry wains will testify to that. If it's butter, cheese or jelly, if the breed is plain or pan, the odds against it reaching earth are 99 to 1. Here we go. I'm a skyscraper Wayne, living on the 19th floor. I'm no going to play any more, 'cause since we've moved to Castle Milk I'm wasting away, 'cause I'm getting 1 fewer meal every day. Oh, you can't fling pieces out a 20-story flat. 700 hungry wains will testify to that. If it's butter, cheese or jelly, if the breed is plain or pan, the odds against it reaching earth are 99 to 1. On the first day my mother threw out her daughter Hovis Brun, kept skating out the window, went up instead of down. Now every 27 hours it comes back into sight. My piece went into orbit and became a satellite. Ah, you can't fling pieces out a 20-story flat. 700 hungry wains will testify to that. If it's butter, cheese or jelly, if the breed is plain or pan, the odds against it reaching earth are 99 to 1. On the next day my mum flew it a piece again. It went and hit the pilot of a fast low-flying plane. He scraped it off his goggles, shouting through his intercom, the Clydeside Reds have got me with a piece and jelly bomb. Oh, you can't fling pieces out a 20-story flat. 700 hungry wains will testify to that. If it's butter, cheese or chili, if the breeder's plain or pan, the odds against it reaching earth are 1991. On the third day my mother thought she'd try another throw. The Salvation Army band was playing down below. Onward Christian soldiers was the tune they should have played, but the Oopa man was playing on a piece in marmalade. Oh, you can't fling piece and suit a 20-story flat. 700 hungry wains will testify to that. If it's butter, cheese or chili, if the breed is plain or pan, the odds against it reaching earth are 1991. Well, we rode to war to Oxfam to try and get some aid. We all joined together, we formed a peace brigade. We're gonna march to George's Square demanding civil rights, like Nehemiah who says our peace flinging height. Ah, you can't fling pieces out a 20-story flat. 700 hungry wains will testify to that. If it's butter, cheese or chili, if the breeder's plain or pan, the odds against it reaching earth on 1990, 1990, 1991. Hey! Very good. That was good. Well done. Now here's a wee song that I know you've been learning. And it's called Caledonia. So thank you once again for inviting me, or to Mrs. Hardy for inviting me to help you celebrate Robert Burns. I hope you've enjoyed the wee stories and the wee poems and the wee songs. So here we'll finish off with this one, and you can sing along, because I'm sure you'll know the words. I don't know if you can see the changes that have come over me in this past few days. I've been afraid that I might drift away, so I've been telling old stories, singing songs, make me think about where I came from, and that's the reason why I seem so far away today. Oh, but let me tell you that I love you, and I think about you all the time. Caledonia, you're calling me, now I'm going home. And if I should become a stranger, know that it would make me more than sad. Caledonia's been everything I've ever had. Now I've tried, I've kept on trying, stolen dreams there's no denying. I've travelled hard with conscience flying somewhere in the wind, and I've moved, I've kept on moving, proving points I needed proving. I've lost the friends I needed losing, found others on the way. Oh, but let me tell you that I love you, and I think about you all the time. Caledonia, you're calling me, now I'm going home. And if I should become a stranger, know that it would make me more than sad. Caledonia's been everything I've ever had. Now I'm sitting here before the fire, the empty room, the forest choir, the flames that couldn't get any higher, they've withered now, they've gone. But I'm steady thinking, my way is clear, I know what I will do tomorrow. when hands have shaken and kisses float, and I will disappear. Oh, let me tell you that I love you, and I think about you all the time. Caledonia, you're calling me, now I'm going home. And if I should become a stranger, know that it would make me more than sad. Caledonia's been everything I've ever had. Caledonia's been everything I've ever had. Thank you, and hopefully next year we'll see you for real. My name's Ken O'Hara, and I hope you've enjoyed it. Ta-ta the new!